Welcome to Sparkling Memories, a place where you could build healthy relationship with food's pleasure itself. And today in front of you is what we're actually going to be making. The first thing we want to start with is actually to rinse it and put in some lemon. These are the ingredients we use to make the marinated sauce. For the first one, it says crab, sweet honey, soy sauce, oyster sauce, liquid smoke, and McCormick seasoning and oregano. First you want to do is pour each one into my drink cup. The first one we're going to start with would be the soy sauce, liquid smoke, and of course we're going to shake up the oyster sauce because you don't want it settled down to the bottom. Then we're going to go ahead and pour some of that in. Just a generous amount because it tends to be very thick. Not too much though, because you want to give it some type of flavor. Then the next thing you want to do is add the sweet honey sauce and you put that in as well. And what we added now would be parsley. Put in a couple dashes of that. And you always want to cut up some onions and garlic as well to put into the marinated sauce. So that's another ingredient. Right there, there's some paprika that was placed inside. There you go. Kraft. Loving that sweet honey barbecue sauce. In front of you, we have the seasoning, the McCormick. You're actually pulling it onto the shrimp. You're going to toss it a little bit. Add some more of that McCormick seasoning. The shaking so you can completely coat all around and make sure everything is nice before you start tossing it again because it needs to be well seasoned. You don't want something that's bland and don't have any type of flavor. That's where the McCormick seasoning come in and the marinade. The marinade is something you also do and you put it together with the shrimp. That's so it could be in there for at least, I would say anywhere from 30 minutes or more. The more it marinates, the better it is. Even if you try to do overnight, that's something that even works even better. So for the third time, you go in there with some McCormick seasoning and you actually shaking it up. See that? What a gorgeous color. If you could smell it, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. And that's the fourth one. And of course, any McCormick seasoning is nice. I like to use the brown sugar when it actually comes to this, or the chipotle and garlic. Those are two good ones to go with the shrimp. Do you want to add something a little different? You can go ahead, but the seasoning is very important. Now, some people might do salt and pepper, but if you want something a little extra, then is when you go in with other seasoning besides the McCormick or adobo. That's the marinated sauce in front of you. And you want to go ahead and pour that on. Once you pour it on, you want to mix it up with your spoon and make sure everything is nicely covered before you actually put it on the side, whether it be on the counter, away from the heat, or you put it in the fridge. I prefer to put it in the fridge though, because that flavor gets to soak in all that seasoning. And that's exactly what you want when it comes to dealing with something so simple that doesn't take a whole lot of time to cook. Because by the time you cook it, it's going to take anywhere from 25 to 30 minutes. Now these are other ingredients that you're actually going to put in front of you. From the onion, the lay water, the brown sugar, McCormick, some vegetable oil. And there we have the pan, starting with the onions. And you're going to put in some garlic and chives. That's the red bell pepper right there. You let that start to get a nice caramelization going on. Now I also like to use these kind of pat versus using a frying pan because with all that sauce that's going to be in there, use that pan that has depth in it. It helps with the sauce because you just don't want to just like fry them unless you're going to coat them with flour or breadcrumbs or something. But if you're going to make a marinade sauce, that's the best way to start it out. We put in a little bit of onions and then you go ahead and put in the vegetables and stir it around a little bit. And that's before you even put in the shrimp that had been sitting there. And just give it a moment. So when you're ready, then you start putting them in. It doesn't quite matter if you put it fast or slow because at this point you're dealing with a hot fire, so you want to take your time and make sure all gets in there, especially the sauce that's going to be leave underneath, and then it will look something like this. At this point, you don't want to add the water as yet because you can put a little bit of water, because while the marinated sauce is going to be very thick and you don't want it super thick, so that's where you add a little water to it. Right there, we're going in with some Jack Daniels. That's actually the honey barbecue sauce. It has a nice flavor. Trying it for the first time. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it tastes as good as it looks. And here we add some other greens as far as put in something like spices. And here we have the finished product. I have the okra, the rice and beans, and of course your shrimp as you've seen before.